Hello. How? I've not done that in a while. This is a very long overdue tag video. Excuse me. Tag video. Oh, I should have had a drink beforehand. Wait there. Tag video. Is that better? That work? Poor. It was a tag video devised by the Norwegian Noob, MrNorwegianNoob. And the idea is, it's called Pass Along the Gem, I think, or pass on the gem, pass along the gem. And the idea is you take one game, and one game that's fallen under the radar. You know the excuse me, sorry, this is shocking. Hopefully that's better. I don't think it is, but the idea is you take one game that you enjoy, and then you tell, you know, that's fallen under the radar, a hidden gem, so to speak. The old video game idea of a hidden gem that's flown under the radar, and you tell people about it. You know, you promote it so that it, you know, so that it gets the accolades it's due. That's the idea. A game that hasn't had the accolades that it's due, and you talk about it. The idea, and then you pass it on to someone else. You pass it on to the next person, and then that person in turn passes it on to someone else. And then I think it was meant as an experiment to see how far it's got. And I was tagged by TGApuleius. Embarrassingly, about a month ago. I'm really embarrassed actually that it's taken this long to get around. I've taken this long to get around to it, but so I can only apologise to TGApuleius and the Norwegian Noob. It's taken this long, but and also I'm not hedging my bets so much. I'm just indecisive. Indecisive. I'm not going to talk too much about. I've got three. I think the idea is you're supposed to do one, but I've got three. But the first two are honourable mentions. And the thing is, two of these games are actually, two of the three I've already mentioned. I've already spoken about. I've already made gameplay videos of, because that's generally what I tend to do. I've found this quite difficult in the sense that if a game has really just grabbed me, a game I didn't really know too much about, if it's really grabbed me, I tend to make a gameplay video about it straight away. So, like I said, two of these games have already been, you know, I've already sort of spoken about, I've already featured. So, but I'll make them anyway. I'll mention them anyway, because one of them in particular was one of my very first gameplay videos. So, so hopefully, a lot of you haven't seen it, most of you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, you've forgotten about it. And you've forgotten about the game and the video that I made. But that's coming up anyway. The first game, this, I won't speak too much about this, I'll just tell you how good it is. It is really, really good. Really good. It's bloody brilliant. Bloody, it's Astro Boy Omega Factor. Honourable mention. This is only an honourable mention. Oh, it's fantastic. It's a side-scrolling action game in the vein of Mega Man. It's less of a sort of run and gun game than Mega Man or Gunstar Heroes or Alien Soldier. It's made by Treasure, and it's got the Treasure seal of quality. It's just the stamp of quality. It is fantastic. It's slightly more of an adventure game than Mega Man, than any Mega Man title. There are 43 levels, and within those levels there are characters to interact with, and I think through those you get weapon upgrades and stuff like that, and you have to interact with each character in each level, and they're not always readily available. You have to do them in a certain order, and they're not always readily available, but you have to interact with every single one to get the best ending. So there are multiple endings, so there's replayability. So it's not necessarily just going from A to B through a level and then get to the end and fighting the boss. And I mean, there are lots of bosses. I think there are about bosses in at least half of the 43 levels. So probably 22. Because you can't have half of 43, can you? But anyway, it's colourful. It's simple. It's got an element of simplicity about it, because obviously coming from the GBA, there's only an A and a B button, but then you use shoulder buttons as well. And it looks brilliant. The music will be familiar to a lot of fans of Treasure games. It looks, like I said, it looks stunning. It's just colourful. It's appealing. It's a joy to play, really. It's Astro Boy Omega Factor. It's not going to focus. There you go. I mean, a cart only wouldn't be too expensive, but there are certain games I recommend to everyone, and I can bore people about them, and this is one of them. I don't think you can really dislike this game. It's one of those. I put that much faith in it. The next two are two games I've spoken about in the past. Most recently, again, this is the second honourable mention. I've had time to play this more and to think about how much I like it, and my opinion hasn't changed. It's just I've learnt more about the game. It's Skull Monkeys. It is undeniably rock hard. It's a joy to play. It's just so much fun. The game itself is fun, but the presentation just makes me smile. It's fantastic, and it's got a brilliant sense of humour, and I smile in that sense as well. It's done with such sort of aplomb and enthusiasm. I think that's a word that I was missing when I made my gameplay video. It's done with such enthusiasm, but it gets criticisms. It gets criticism for certain reasons, and a lot of them I put down to their design choices rather than just oversights or bad programming or bad development or anything like that. Like, for instance, it's rock hard, but to counteract the difficulty setting, they throw extra lives at you and power-ups just left, right and centre. So by the time you've got further into the game, you can have just sort of tens up to however many lives. I think there's a maximum of 90, probably 99. I don't know. I've never got that many. But there's a gameplay video. There's a video of the end sequence after you've completed the game, and it's about the death of the main villain. And underneath it, in a comment, somebody's written, "How the hell did you get through the end of this game to be able to record this sequence?" And the person goes, "Well, it's basically just emulation, or Game Shark or something like that." That's how difficult it is. It's notoriously difficult. and repetitive and everything, but I think it has that sort of approach to difficulty that you get on things like bullet hell shooters. It's self-consciously difficult. It's self-consciously challenging, and that's one reason why it shouldn't be dismissed. It should appeal to people who like just being challenged. I don't think it's unfair. It just ramps up the difficulty level to a point where it is just insane. I mean, the final level, I've not got that far, but I've watched videos of it. The final level involves sort of projected platforms. You land on a pressure plate and it projects a platform, and you have to jump to the platform, but the platform's temporary and they don't last very long at all. So you have to know the exact point to jump, and it's about learning the level in the same way that you would with a bullet hell shooter. But with shooters, you only have like 3 lives, so you're not always given the scope to learn a level. But with this one, I think the system is better in a way because you've got so many lives with which to learn the level, so which makes more sense to me. And the music's brilliant. Music's the best music in any video game ever. So that's Skull Monkeys. I've already spoken about that too much. So my honourable mentions: Skull Monkeys, Astro Boy, and Mega Factor. The game that is my gem was one of my very first gameplay videos. Excuse me, I'm going to have another drink. Was one of my very first gameplay videos. That's better actually. I think that's worked. What a fucking pig's ear of a video. One of my very first gameplay videos, and I got so enthusiastic about the game because I put it in. I wasn't expecting anything from it, primarily because I bought it from GameStation and it cost me a penny. And what would you expect from a game that cost you a penny? Absolutely nothing. And it's really good fun. It really just took me by surprise, and I think that sort of surprise factor probably made me like it better than it deserves. But that's not to play down the fact that it is a really enjoyable game, and it's not the most cultured game, it's not the most sophisticated game, so don't read that too much into this, but it is brilliantly enjoyable. It's mass destruction. It looks like a I don't think you'll be able to see these, but from the maybe from it's a relatively early one, like 98. So it's relatively early. So it's from 97. It has the graphical look of Desert Strike, very similar gameplay to Desert Strike, but with tanks, as the front cover might indicate. It's basically Desert Strike with tanks, but whereas Desert Strike I did like Desert Strike, but I wasn't, and it was one of the best games of its time, but I found it a bit humourless. Maybe I was missing something, but I maybe didn't enjoy it for that reason. And this is obviously the next generation, but it's although it does actually look quite 16-bit in a way, even though it's 3D and it sort of uses polygons, but it looks a bit of a dog because you're using tanks. You don't run out of petrol or diesel or fuel and then crash. You've not got that sort of hanging over you, which is one of the reasons I didn't really enjoy Desert Strike that much, because I'm always just on the lookout for fuel and just expecting to crash. It's like Desert Strike. It's playable. It doesn't necessarily have the sort of pseudo-realistic physics that you'd get in Desert Strike, because it's more cartoony. It's more sort of B-movie. It's more of a B-movie of a game, but it's a self-conscious B-movie, so to speak. It's everything explodes. Shoot things and eventually they explode. Even palm trees, explodable like barrels of oil will explode, and oil refineries will explode, and trucks and things will explode, but also palm trees will explode. Everything explodes, and one of my favourite things in this game is to get the flamethrower weapon and to burn some little enemy dude to fire bazookas at you, and they run away going, ah. You just play this game just for that. Just don't know, it makes me laugh, and it's just brilliant. It's brilliant fun. It's not as realistic as Desert Strike tries to be. It's more of a cartoon, like I said, more of a B movie. You get the choice of 3 tanks. You get a fast, medium, and a slow, and then obviously lightly armoured, lightly with less weapons, but then all the way up to heavy armoured and strong. So it's that sort of game. It's mission based, like Desert Strike, but more fun, if anything. Not as sophisticated, even though it's a later game. It's from a later generation. Not as sophisticated as Desert Strike, but personally, I think it's more fun, and it cost me 1 penny. So I love it. It's never going to be my favourite game, but I love it for different reasons. And it disarmed me. It took me by surprise. It's sort of a unashamed charm. It took me by surprise. Its lack of pretense. I think that's what it is. Certain games are self-consciously stylish and cool, whereas this has none of that. Don't expect anything cool or laid back or stylish about this game. It's all about big cheesy explosions and little men running away in balls of flame. But anyway, there you go, that's it. My hidden gem is mass destruction. Although, don't expect too much if you decide to go and play it. Don't take my word for it. Don't blame me if you do. It won't cost you anything. It's a cheap game. Quite difficult to get hold of. I mean, there's only one on eBay at the moment, and that's a £9 buy it now. But which it's not worth that. It's not worth anything really. It's worth about the 1 penny that I paid for it. But it's worth playing. But again, don't get your hopes up. But there you go. That's my one gem that I'm recommending. Mass Destruction. I do have a gameplay video of it if you fancy. I'm not going to put a link because it's not a brilliant gameplay video. It's a very early one. Not that my gameplay video is brilliant anyway. Anyway, for the tag, I'm going to pass it on to Shocks. Shocks, one of the naturally funniest and watchable people on YouTube, along with a few other people. But Shocks is just a naturally funny guy, and generally I like watching people who make me laugh, and Shocks is definitely one of those. So, Shocks, if you're watching this, it's passing on a gem tag to Shocks. So check out Shocks' channel, check out TGApuleius' channel, check out the Norwegian Noob's channel. I'll put all the links down below. And thanks for watching. More videos coming up soon. See you later.